welcome back to the channel. You guys have all been requesting it and I'm so excited to give you these 3 super easy, family-friendly meals everyone will enjoy. Alright, before I start any type of meal prepping or batch cooking or whatever you want to call it, I make sure I start with a very clean kitchen. I make sure I take off any extra clutter that's on my counters, especially the way my kitchen is set up. I don't have a lot of extra space to work with. And then I do a little extra sanitation as well with the sanitation wipe. I empty out my dishwasher because we are just going to be loading that right back up as soon as we're done cooking. And then I also make sure to clean out my sink as well. Since I'll be washing fresh produce and everything else in the sink, I just want to make sure that is clean, disinfected, and sanitized before any food goes in there. Okay, another thing to have a successful meal prep day that doesn't take all day long, you want to make sure you stay as organized as possible. One of the ways I do that is I make sure I pull out all of the ingredients that I'll be using today and then I separate them by category. So I keep all the produce together, pantry items together, meats together, and dairy items together. Okay, so the first thing I start with is all of my produce. So for my broccoli, cauliflower, and potatoes, I do like to let them soak for 20 minutes in a wash. So I just do cold water with a 1/4 cup of vinegar, about 4 tablespoons of salt, and then I just make sure that it's completely covered and I set it off to the side and let it soak for 20 minutes. So for my carrots, bell peppers, celeries, and green onions, I just rinse them under cold running water in the sink, and then I dry them off with a clean paper towel. If you do not have paper towels at this time, you can go ahead and use just a regular clean dish towel that is lint free. And then a trick for my butternut squash, I've gotten questions too from friends and I always let them know this trick. If you have a hard time cutting your butternut squash, if you throw it in the microwave for about 5 minutes beforehand, it softens it up a bit and it makes it a lot easier to cut. But once I have everything soaking and the rest of the produce drying, I go ahead and move on to my meat. So today's meat prep was actually pretty easy. So I just grabbed my pack of chicken. I set 2 aside because that's what I'll need in today's meal. And then I make sure to season those with salt and pepper. And then I grab 4 Ziploc bags for the other meats. This way I can go ahead and throw them straight into the freezer. I just like separating them individually into smaller bags because that's what works for our family. But if you use a lot more chicken when it comes to your family meals, you can definitely double or triple the breast up into a larger bag. Just make sure you're able to get all the air out. For me, I like to use the edge of my counter to help push out all that excess air to kind of create more of a airtight seal before throwing them into my freezer. And then I definitely go ahead and wipe it down with a disinfectant wipe, especially since I'm working with raw chicken. This way I can move on to my very first meal, which is going to be my healthy crock pot red beans and rice. Okay, so for my red beans and rice, you'll need 2 packs of andouille sausage, 1 pack of diced ham, and 6 pieces of bacon, or ideally you would want to find a ham hock, but I'm always unable to find it, so that's how I substitute. And then 16 ounces of dry kidney beans. Again, our stores are low in stock right now, so all I could find was 4 cans, 6 cups of low sodium chicken stock, or you can use water. I just feel the chicken stock gives it a little bit more flavor. And then you're gonna need 1 red onion, 3 celery stalks, 2 bell peppers, a green onion for garnish, some creole seasoning, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, black pepper, and 2 bay leaves. So to make it, it's super easy, you guys. All you have to do is dice up all of your ingredients and just throw them into your crock pot with about 1 to 2 teaspoons of each seasoning. I like to do 1 teaspoon. This way everybody can add more if they want to, especially since I have little ones in the home. I don't want to make anything too spicy. And then I cook it on low for 6 to 8 hours. I like to push it towards the 8 hours though. I just feel the longer it cooks, it will give it more flavor. It thickens up the sauce a little bit better and it tastes a whole lot better. With my inability to find the dried kidney beans though, the sauce didn't thicken up as much as I'd like. I did halfway through the cooking process go through and try to smash up some of the ingredients just to kind of thicken up the sauce a little bit more. So if you come from a Cajun background or your family makes this, you probably notice it looks a lot different, but you guys, the flavors were still there and it was still so good. This is all I had to work with. Stocks are low right now. Don't come at me. I swear I know how to make this meal. But I love making these in bigger batches because they make great freezer meals. All I do is I allow it to cool down completely, and then I go ahead and separate it into 2-gallon Ziploc freezer bag, and I store it in my freezer for up to 3 months. This is perfect if I have people coming over last minute or I just don't feel like cooking. I want some soul food. I don't have to go through the process and wait another 8 hours. It's in the freezer. All I have to do is pull it out the night before, let it thaw out, and then warm it back up, usually on the stove top so it goes a little bit further. Or if I just want it for lunch, I'll just plop it in a bowl and just eat it myself. And once you are ready to serve, make sure you put it over a bed of rice and top it with some green onions. And again, if you want a little extra seasoning, you can add it then as well. And if you are curious, I actually have a dedicated video for this dish I did last year while I was pregnant with Ezra, when I actually could find the entire bag of kidney beans that I needed. But unfortunately, still no ham hock. I don't know why my stores don't carry it. It's just so hard to find for me. But if you want to see what that video looks like with the sauce a little bit thicker and the meal not as healthy, which means it's even more delicious, I'll go ahead and link that video for you in the description box below. Okay, so this next meal is Pinterest inspired, although I did not take the recipe. I just basically saw a picture and said I could do that. So you'll need 2 pounds of chicken, 3 to 4 red potatoes, 6 pieces of bacon, about 3 cups of broccoli, 1 can of the condensed cheese soup, and about 1 cup of cheddar cheese. You want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 375. I like to cut my potatoes before boiling them. It just allows it to go a little bit faster. If you keep them whole, you'll probably have to boil them for 20 minutes, but if you cut them up beforehand, you only have to boil them for 10 minutes. And then I cook up my 6 pieces of bacon and dice up my chicken into 1-inch cubes. Once that is done, I go ahead and place my potatoes into a greased 9x13 baking pan. I don't know why I was trying to use a smaller one. I just forgot I was doubling up my meals, I guess, but you'll definitely need a larger one for this meal. And then I layer my chicken, broccoli, condensed soup, which I did add about 3 tablespoons of water to this just to make it a bit creamier so I can go ahead and spread it on top. Then I top it with my cheese. Preferably, I wanted to go ahead and cook this covered for 25 minutes to ensure the cheese doesn't dry out, but I had no aluminum foil, so I just baked it uncovered in the center rack. It still came out really good. The potatoes were super soft and the chicken was super moist as well. You can definitely add some salt and pepper if you wanted to, but I thought the flavors from like the bacon and the cheese just brought it all together. If you want to make a freezer version of this, you basically would just allow your potatoes and bacon to cool completely and then add all of your ingredients except for the soup and cheese into a Ziploc bag. And then on cook day, just allow your meal to thaw out overnight, remove it from the fridge about 30 minutes before cooking, then go ahead and proceed with placing everything into your baking dish, top it with your soup and your cheese, and bake covered for about 25 minutes at 375. Okay, so this next meal is a hidden veggie mac and cheese. I actually got this meal from tasty.com, although I do just follow the recipe roughly, just like I do with most of my recipes, so I do not follow the portion sizes exactly, and it still came out really good. It looks just like Kraft's macaroni and cheese, and your kids will not even realize how healthy it is for them. So you will need 1 pound of elbow macaroni, a half a cup of water, 1 cup of cauliflower florets, 1 cup of butternut squash, 1 cup of carrots, 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of cheddar cheese, and 4 ounces of cream cheese. And And then you're gonna add all of your veggies and your water to a pot over medium heat, and then just cook until tender. I cooked it for about 5 minutes and it came out perfectly. And then you'll go ahead and add your cooked vegetables with the water that they were cooking in into a blender to smooth it out into a puree. Then you're going to return those blended veggies back to the same pot over medium heat and add in your milk, cheese, and cream cheese, and go ahead and mix that until smooth. And then once that is done, you can add your macaroni, reduce the heat, and cook covered for about 20 minutes. And you guys, this came out so delicious. And just for some extra veggie power, I went ahead and steamed up some broccoli and made broccoli on the side, giving my family even more healthy vegetables to eat. This again is another perfect freezer meal. All you have to do is allow your macaroni and cheese to cool down completely, store it into a Ziploc bag, and you can keep it in your freezer for about 2 to 3 months. I love making these meals in bigger portions and just throwing them in my freezer. This really does help when it comes to creating a freezer stash, which I totally believe in. For those nights where you just don't want to cook, you already have stuff in your freezer and you don't have to worry about it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below which recipe you're gonna be trying this week or what you wanna see next. As always, guys, I love you and I'll see you in the next one.